How? We're back, and well, we're not live. We're kind of live. I mean, I'm live. I'm doing this live. I'm not going to stop or re-edit it or whatever, but I'm going to have to post it. I got to start work early tomorrow, but I probably could still squeeze it in, but frankly, I don't know if it's going to work, so I figured I'd do this kind of as an update of what I'm doing. I've been redoing the studio stuff here. Now, most people, if they look at former pictures of the studio, wouldn't even know, so I'm not going to bother to go in there. Plus, probably most don't even care. I want to say I've been very happy with the results. It's been very frustrating. A lot of losing this. God, what happened to this cable and all this stuff? But anyway, I'm back here. I wanted to say a few things. I got some emails from people, and well, anyway, I'm going to say a few things. Excuse me. I will go back live, I guess, at some point, because once I get stuff finished here. What I was working on was the music end of this. As I focused on the recording end, I took out the recording card that I had, which is old, and actually was pretty noisy when I was doing some research. I've switched to using what's inside the computer, which isn't all that great in terms of recording, but it actually is quieter. So that part is good. So for broadcast, it won't matter, but for playing the music, oh my gosh, the music sound system here sounds so good, and I have to give kudos to Tidal, the streaming service. It's a subscription. It's $20 a month for the high fidelity version, and so I ended up getting rid of my internet in the truck. I don't really need it. I have been using it actually, because on a phone I have has it. So anyway, to make a long story short, I have that, and oh my gosh, the sound is absolutely fantastic. I've been watching the a channel, I can't think of his name now off the top of my head. I can let you know. Bakehauser. I forgot his first name. He's from Holland. He's been talking about all kinds of digital and streaming and all this stuff, and I did tune-ups on the digital side of things, and wow. All I can say is wow. So I'm very happy about that. But I want to take a minute to check in. If we look at what's going on out in the world, I mean, I've been on for several weeks, and actually started the 17th year of the broadcast, kind of without a big hoopla, because it wasn't on air or nothing. But here we are, 17, and it is amazing. Everything out there is a LARP. It is a live action role playing game. I mean, I didn't know the term until recently. But this is the definition of what's been going on since Art Bell, before Art Bell. And the thing is, the LARPness has moved into the mainstream big time. And so we have Q, which is a LARP. Again, these people who are Q are live action role playing. They're saying stuff. It goes back to Sorcerer Fall, David Booth in those days, for those who have been longtime listeners know about that, where they take the stories of the day and then weave it into a narrative. You can go back throughout history. That aspect is not that big a deal. I mean, narratives have been spun forever. It's just now they can live action do it. Now, it used to be the point where, like, if you go back to Planet X with Nancy Leader, they pick a 5-year out. I forgot what the number was, 9-year, whatever she started. It was out, and so when the time it gets here, you have all this time in it. And I think Nancy believed what she was saying. So there's two kind of LARPs. There's the ones who believe what they drink their own Kool-Aid, let's say, and then there's the ones who are doing it for fun. And those are the people that are very disgusting. If you've ever long time people who've been around for a long time, I think the boards are still up. Look back at Surfing the Apocalypse forum, Rumor Mill News, Godlike Productions. They were all LARPs. They were all people who were together, and they'd spun these yarns, and some would challenge them and spin their own counter yarn, and they would see who would, quote, win. And I actually talked with a lady who was at Rumor Mill News back in the day, and she did say that they were these factions. They call them factions, but I think they kind of believed them. But anyway, when somebody comes up with a story and says, well, sources told me that this and that and the other thing, if the sources didn't tell you, you are a liar. You are a LARPist. You're lying. Now, if you got sources did tell you certain things, They may be fueling you and using you to manipulate your narrative, and thus your reach you have with the people that you may listen to you. And so it's still it's a LARP once removed, I guess. You're being manipulated. But all this stuff that's the real world events have yet to happen. I mean, you know what the most real thing out there is Trump. Trump is real. Trump is reality in your face. And people say he's from Scottish Free Right Masons. He's I don't know. I can't remember if they pulled in the Jesuits. You know, they got, of course, Jared Kushner there is Jewish, so we got the Jews in there. Netanyahu's big buddies with Trump. So then, you know, now Trump is what was Jewish drone? A drone for Zionism or whatever. And, you know, I think what it comes down to is Trump is who he is. This is what Trump believes. And he moved the, I think him moving the embassy to Jerusalem surprised Israel with that. I think that was Trump's idea. All this stuff is Trump's ideas. And so, to me, he's the most real thing out there. And what's going around him is LARPing. But that's not even the point, focus of what I wanted to talk about, is the currency of this world is your attention. People are vying for your attention. If you haven't noticed it, TV shows, movies, books, people, they want your attention. Your employer wants your attention. Your employer makes a deal with you. I'm going to pay you X amount of money for your attention, and your attention will be used in this manner to make widgets or what have you, research or whatever. They're taking your consciousness. They are taking your consciousness, your talents, your abilities, and you're using them to make what they want. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I mean, it's a symbiotic relationship that is that your attention does not create self-sustaining results. You know, you got to eat, you know, food, shelter, clothing, and, you know, then the quality of those items. You want to live in a tent in a yard somewhere, or, you know. And so you may bargain out your attention and your talents to another individuals who collectively make something, hopefully, which is to the benefit of mankind, because that's kind of slipping by the wayside. And, you know, so it's not a bad thing, but you have to be aware of it. When you have a news stories, the tales at 10, so-and-so, 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 you know, trying to get you to tune in, because when you tune in, your number, your attention, watching that news means they get another point on their ratings. And then whenever you buy advertisement on TV, it's based on ratings of that day. So, you know, when you're buying the time, if I'm just making numbers up just for the hell of it, 10,000 people watch, you pay X amount. 20,000, you pay more. 30,000, you pay more. And so whenever, you know, here's a great simple little proof. Whenever there is a storm, at least in Chicago, this is how it is, so I don't know. Whenever there's a storm on the horizon, it's like, oh, the tales say, oh, we got a storm coming in, tune in. You know, people tune in and they got, oh, you know, and it's not that big a deal. A lot of these storms don't even happen, and then everybody's like, wow, we dodged a bullet there, you know. Well, this is all part of it. And the controversy, you know, Trump, they're using Trump for attention. But you see, there's another line behind it. Just like the guy who's believing the LARP, drinking his own Kool-Aid, then you got the other person who's manipulating him. You have the networks and whatnot want the attention for their money system, but now you have the political parties or the powers that be, however you want to call it, are using that access to program. So they get your attention with some hoopla, and then they can program. And in the case of everything that's anti-Trump stuff, everything you would go, it's night and day. Anti-Trump, you think this guy was a monster from hell. And it's so funny because I've been listening to the man talk and watching him do things since he started this, since he had won the primary, because I wasn't watching before. I didn't pay attention to it. I was like, what? He won? Huh? You know. But I've been listening to what he is saying. I've been logically working what he's talking about. Got good stuff. There's nothing bad there. He's got an air about him which pisses people off, but he's getting attention, isn't he, by how he's doing it? This is his method. I wouldn't do it, but then again, I wouldn't be voted in. So it's all ridiculous, the amount of the hoopla is being made about him. And this latest thing with the wall, I'm not a big fan of the wall, but it's not about the current situation. When you build walls, they work two ways. So right now, Trump builds a wall, keeps out criminals, keeps out the illegal aliens, keeps down the processing money being spent to process all of these things, be it crimes or people. Fine, that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we have fences and doors and, but, let's go to Berlin, and now it's a wall to keep people in. So that's in the back of my mind. So really up front, and it's not immoral. It's not. In fact, I love all these videos are coming out, and thank God they're coming out all over the place. I don't have the reach to be the guy to bring them out to the world. I pass them on and do them, but eventually it gets up into people who have millions of viewers, and it even gets on the television, showing Schumer and all these people talking, saying exactly the same of what Trump said about the wall and illegal aliens, right out of Schumer's mouth. Illegal aliens, not immigrants. So, we all know that that's the case. But what they're looking at doing, it's shifted since then. Now they're looking at, those people who voted for Trump, those Americans, we have to replace them. We have to get rid of them. We have to marginalize them. We have to beat them into submission in order to maintain our power base. So now it's like, bring whoever else in. They'll replace the people, and they'll do what they're told. They'll vote how they're said, because they're getting, we're ungrateful. In fact, I think going, I got this goofy thing here. I got to push some buttons. Test, there we go. I got to clean out, there's a machine, limiter compressor. Test. See? Little button there's not. All right, testing 1, 2, test. Oh, is that aggravating? Aggravating as Hades. Hey. There, see, clicks in. It's inside the machine, so what do? Throw it out? That's aggravating. It's very aggravating when this stuff happens. This stuff, Anyway. No, see, I forgot what I was talking about. I'm losing my own gray matter, my own attentions. Well, I was talking about the wall being inside and outside. I'll watch the video or listen to it, and also, that's what it was. Oh, that was really important, too. So they're putting out these videos, all these people saying this stuff, and obviously we know it's good, but they're changing the narrative here because now they got to get rid of us because we voted in Trump. Oh, yeah, Kennedy. So I think it goes back to we had the middle class got too big and decided they wanted to get involved politically, and so Kennedy was not was an example of some, and then Kennedy actually started to help think about the people instead of the people who owned the Kennedy name, and I think that kind of aspect, like, wait a minute, this middle class isn't working out. They were getting more money and stuff, and okay, fine, and raising education and doing fine. That's fine. Oh, no, now they're getting too pushy now. Now they want it their way. And so what Trump winning really is that times 10. Trump really, the fact that we voted for Trump and enough of us voted for Trump and they won. Holy cow, you got your freaking nerve. We had the plan here. And of course, fearing this happening, they started to work on it and so on. And if it wasn't for the mainstream media right now, 24/7 pounding this whole Russian narrative, and it would have been gone. This is why the mainstream media, to me, are the worst enemy combatants, if you will, because they are the ones programming the audience. The political parties couldn't get that reach. They need the media. And so, of course, maybe they've been blackmailed, and maybe, my guess is that whenever you get high enough into into public life, you are compromised somewhere along the way. And what happens is that you are, you have blackmail, and then at some point, if you're not if you do what you're told anyway, fine. Or if you even go deeper and you're on the dark team, fine. But all of a sudden, if you decide, no, I can't do that, well, we'll bring these pictures out. And so in some cases, I think what happens is you saw a mass exodus of Republican lawmakers, I think, as they decided to retire and get out of this before their little number came up and they had to make the decision. I can't prove that. This is just my kind of hunch. And so these people have to follow the program. And now it's like, you sell your soul to the devil and things are going fine. Then all of a sudden the devil decides to call his marker in, and it's like, wait a minute. I didn't want to kill somebody, or I didn't want to do this horrendous thing. Hey, when look at the fine line. Whenever I needed you got to do what you got to do. It's not going to be, I'm going to do something. I'll only do usually for what I want you to do or what you like. No. And so a lot of these people, of course, a lot of them are glad because they're part of the team, team evil or whatever. And all that. So anyway, this is what's going on. It's so obvious. It's so obvious. I mean, I put on. I don't watch the news. Now people say, "Well, you don't watch the news. How you know what's going on?" Well, believe me, I'll find out. I mean, I check in at Facebook and Minds and Gab and Twitter here and there, and people send me mail and stuff. So I mean, believe me, if something happens, I'll find out about it. I don't have to sit glued to the TV. But I can't deal with it. I mean, Tucker is a guy I watch on occasion, but I can't sit and watch a show because he'll bring on the people and let them talk their garbage, and then he confronts them. But I can't take the garbage. It's like, I don't want the guy. I know it's garbage. I don't need to hear it. Now you say, well, you're hiding your head in and saying, no. I mean, I've already heard the argument. Anybody who thinks there's Russian collusion by Trump, anybody think that Trump has got anything on him by this point in time, after 2 years and millions of dollars, and them just dredging up everything they can come up with. Remember, you got the whole NSA and everything he's ever said recorded. You even have them, you have the Obama administration before he's president actually going in there and spying on him and his people. They wanted him bad. They got nothing. They got some process crimes from people who lied to the FBI. So you're investigating me for, say, embezzlement. And they asked me where I was last Tuesday, and I said I was home, and actually I wasn't. And maybe because I was fooling around well, I don't know, fooling around with some other person. And I don't. It's got nothing to do with the point, right? But because I lied about that, now they're going to put me in prison. And the original point has got nothing to do with it. This is what they're doing, trying to do with Roger Stone. They did with his lawyer. And this is what they're trying to do with Trump. They don't care if there's Russian collusion. They don't care about it. They want to find something so they can nail him. They want to nail him so bad. They're spitting blood. They're just, it's unbelievable. And I just, there's got to be evil behind it because I cannot see in a political sense how important it is. I just don't get it. I know it says in the latter days, time speeds up and all this where, people get impatient and they're like at the door, we're ready to do it. And so they get kind of crazy, I guess. I don't know. But I can't deal with it. I can't sit and watch this stuff. And my feed on Facebook, I've been lax at watching it because, there's people that are in this and they're just all day constantly posting stuff. I'm going like, dudes, how could you do this? How can you give up your attention to this so much? You're being sucked in to the attention. Forget now, there's two things. There's the attention and the uses, and then there's the programming. All right, so right now, both are like on steroids because it's like we're fighting for the attention. The energies are high, the emotions are high, perfect for programming. Get the programming in. Because you have to be like upset and you have to be kind of like, you're confused, upset, perfect for programming. That's what the whole MK Ultra stuff, they would get these people to be all, they'd torture them and do all kinds of stuff and get them all kind of crazy, and then they can program them, split personalities, whatever. Well, this is what they're doing with the population. and they're working at the same time. At the same time they're LARPing us, they're also trying to work out the scenarios. So they're making up scenarios, they're LARPing us into categories, and then now they're playing out those categories. Well, if it goes to this, we'll do that. If it goes to this, we'll do that. And then we're walking along this. I'm out. I'm out. I'm not following that. I mean, I have to do what I got to do to survive. I got to go to work, pay bills, do whatever. And that's why I put a lot of effort into the music part, which gives me so much enjoyment. I can't explain to you when I hear something that's recorded and performed well. I mean, it almost doesn't matter the music. There's some Madonna recordings, Michael Jackson, that are fantastic. There's classical recordings that are just fantastic. Jazz. I started to get into is bossa nova. I got some bossa nova stuff. I was like, man, it's recorded very well. It's like they're sitting right in my room. And it's very kind of relaxing. So that's what I've been focusing on, because the other stuff is outrageous. Let me see if I got some stuff open here in my Windows for the webpage. I did some posts on this. I said, this is a picture of, I'm not sure where this is, in somewhere in Philippines or in that area somewhere. And I said, this is the glimpse of the future. This is California in a post-Trumpian wall, yet still having sanctuary cities. They'll be coming in through the harbors. This is great. You know what? I'll see if I can play this. I don't know if I'll get nailed for something here, but
our message absolutely is don't send your children unaccompanied on trains or through a bunch of smugglers. We don't even know how many of these kids don't make it and may have been waylaid into sex trafficking or killed because they fell off a train. We have no way of tracking that. So that is our direct message to the families in Central America. Do not send your children to the borders.
This guy's funny.
If they do make it, they'll get sent back.
What did you just say, Obama?
I'll leave it at that. The links, I'll put it down there. If they get here, they'll be sent back. This is, this is just one of many videos. I just happened to come across that. Yeah, here's another great one. This David Harris Jr., I don't know who he is. I guess he's a talk show host. I just bumped into him. He wrote an article. Schumer, let's go back. Pelosi and Schumer supported building a wall in Jordan, and they even provided $500 million for it. Why would they do that if a wall is immoral and ineffective? Because they were willing to protect Jordan, but not the United States. Because, again, they want to... The whole point here is to supplant, if not overrun, with numbers. When you bring in extra people, you drive the wages down, you could, this is what the goal is. Supplant us with people who will do what they're told and be happy, instead of thinking that they can run things. Here's my stuff about LARPing. Benjamin Fulford, speaking of LARPs, Benjamin Fulford is an app, I put up a link. It's pure hope porn fiction. Hope porn, I have appropriated that from Zeph Daniels. This guy's been around a while, and I used to listen to him because he was at Forbes magazine on the, he was in the Asian Financial Reporter. And this guy started coming out with stuff and going like, wow, this guy has, he's been in the mainstream, we'll say, and he's starting to come out with this Red Dragon Society and all this stuff. Well, here we are. It's been years he's been talking about this stuff, and here we are. And so, what did I write something? I'm going to see if I can run. If I know it, yeah, I don't know. I said, I said earlier on, I said, this will not make me popular, but one thing I've managed to do is not to be popular. I've managed to popular, so. Trump's speech. Everyone's talking about he's going to declare martial law. He's going to order the wall built. So before before Trump went on, there was at 7:29. He went on at 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock, I believe. This is, I guess, I don't know. I don't know if this is my time. No, it can't be because I did it. Yeah, it must be my time. Because it came on at 8 o'clock my time, which should be 9. Anyway, just for Italian books, in this time stamp, I would put a Trump will, 1, not declare a national emergency and allow alternative methods to build a wall, and 2, he will not announce the arrest in tribunals, which a lot of people were saying. Didn't he? He did exactly what I said. He was going to try and make the case to the American people what the immigration problem is, trafficking, drug, coyotes, crime, etc., and how logical, reasonable, and effective a wall would be. And that's what he did. So this is there's a lot of stuff. I've been watching this Headlines with a Voice. Now, I can't, every single one I'm necessarily on board with, but a lot of them are. And they've now come up with hacks. They've hacked the Chief Roberts and others. And, I have to look into more of that, But one thing I do want to mention, I was watching, I was actually doing work on a computer in the same room where they had the JFK, kind of like a little mini biography about his life and death, JFK Jr. And I thought, isn't that kind of funny that they're coming up with this at this time? At the same time, you have people who are saying that he is still alive. In fact, he is actually Q or part of the Q or what have you. Which the guy who they showed, I tried. I'm putting it to screen. This guy here, you can see the old and the new and old. All right, he looks like JFK Jr. More than the next guy. All right, so of course you gotta say there's 3 bodies. The sister's involved. What happened? Did the sister wanted to go underground as well? And all this stuff. And so it gets sticky when you get into the reality of it. But what I was shocked about, I started laughing because the lady who is his wife, right? His wife, and which of course his name escapes me now. Carolyn. All right, there's a picture of him with his wife, right? Here is the lady who was at the event with the quote JFK guy. I forgot his Fusca. Here's the lady appearing with him. And look at her; she looks just like her. I mean, the nose, the smiling, the face, the eyes. I'm going like, you could. I'm thinking like, and here's another picture of them at another event. Not next to one another, but I just thought, like, whoa. I mean, what happened? You have Ted Kennedy involved, finding the bodies. Ted Kennedy's is involved. Now, if I was going to spin this narrative myself, I would say that at the time, he wanted to get out of the limelight. He didn't like it. She didn't like the limelight, all the hoopla, this and that, so they wanted to get out of it. And maybe they went with Ted and told him, and he went along with it, being a family member. So it's possible they went out to get out of the limelight, right? But then her sister's involved. So now the sister's dead too. Or alive but dead, if you know what I mean. So that makes that real rough. And then they found the body, so there's a coroner, there's all those people have to be paid off, or there's a dead body, and whose body was? See, that's where all of these, they sound good. Like, look at the pictures. They go, hey, look, that's her. And it sounds good, but then you have to fit it into reality. That all those people involved had a fake this happening. Now, it's possible, of course, but every person you add into a fake, and now that he's come back, so to speak, for Trump, and he's potentially Q, or at least parallel to it, or whatever, maybe he supports Trump. He also doesn't have nothing to do with Q. He could be alive. She could have went with him. Maybe the sister wanted out too. They went in their new lives, and they happen to support Trump, and so he's showing up as this Fusca guy, and so on. So, it doesn't have to be Q. I mean, it could still be JFK and not be anything to do with the whole Q and the whole thing. He just happens to be living his own quiet life. But then where's the money? And then how does this tie in with fraud? tax fraud because now Kennedy's dead, but his other guys, it gets really, really sticky when you try to actually deal with the details of reality. I mean, you can throw a gloss of paint on it that says, well, he's real popular, he's real rich, so therefore, but anyway, I just thought, I thought it was odd that they're doing it at the same time the rumors are that he's alive. I thought, hey, that's pretty coincidental, huh? And then I saw her, and I'm like, holy cow. Anyway, the cool thing is all this stuff, you don't have to believe any of it, right? No one says you have to believe it and like your soul is going to go to heaven or hell if you can let it be, and we'll see. And that's kind of how I'm looking at it all. I mean, I get upset by I get upset by LARPs, people that are making stuff up just to get your attention, and then when you get let down, it's like, oh well, you were dumb enough to believe me. It's a con. It's like the con. It's like the same kind of stuff a snake oil salesman. It's like, hey, if you're dumb enough to believe me, hey, it's not my problem. So. And I just thought, once in my life before I die, I would like something to be true. All the years at Art Bell and all the years after that, 17 years doing the show, I would love to have something be true. Not that I want Planet X to come by and destroy things, like that, but I mean, all this stuff that's predicted, nothing has happened. Nothing. 2012. David Wilcox is another LARP in his 2012 stuff. We're going to pass into a membrane up into the fourth dimension and all this stuff. And, I'm like, hey, cool. That sounds cool. Well, it didn't happen. Plus there's a problem with the date 2012 anyway. I mean, it's kind of an arbitrary thing. There's a lot of people who, over the I think there's like 500-year span from all the people who tried to reconcile the calendars because there's no perfect reconciliation. They try to look at the calendars to find out historical events that happened that they put down in the records, and then they line them up with our records of historical events, and hopefully when the points match, there you go. But all they have is a majority of points. They don't have all of them. I see, that's where that stuff gets in there. So I come in bringing up this stuff, and I'm spoiling the party. It's like, hey, and of course I just can't be right, and it's not even me. I'm using this other stuff from other people. So it can't be me. I got to be wrong. I was called a troll. I'm just coming in to be a spoiler. You just want to come in and, hey, I'm trying to be real here. Because the real 2x4 will whack you in the head. The fake one won't. Or, if you think that, oh, I'll use this little fairy dust and I won't get hit by the 2x4, boom. Right, so I just thought when I saw her, I started laughing out loud. Well, Lucinda thinks it is him. She's like, that's him, and that's her. That's it, But anyway, this is terrible. Bree Payton, I've actually watched her on One American News. I thought she was pretty good. When I first saw her, she looked like kind of like a Valley Girl type, but man, she's sharp as a tack, right? She comes up and broke a story about Mueller deleting Texas. Oh, she gets the flu. She goes to bed feeling okay, according to the house. She was staying at a house, being a guest on the television show. Oh, she wakes up. She's unresponsive. They bring her to the hospital. Next day, she's dead. Now, could she have gotten a flu or something? Yeah. Do people die fast? Yeah, it happens. It happens. But it's just funny. Like, how many people who are on the opposite side of, say, Trump or Patriots, how many of those people are breaking news on the Patriots or Trump, and then they're dying? None. Well, first off, they're breaking news and it's falling apart. But anyway, that was pretty sad. I kind of liked her. I used to like when she would talk. Pretty good stuff. Matt Stein passed away. Biden, boom, just had a heart attack. Boom. So I posted a picture. The only time I got to meet him was in April last year. And I mentioned the best thing he did was Solar Storm, but wait a second. Let me. I think this is his greatest work. When technology fails, this book, look how thick it is. This book has, like, if technology fails and you need to build everything from a solar house to dig a well, it's all in there. I mean, he can't say everything, and I had him on the show. I got to find that article show we did. But he said he was called by God to write this. And he has a companion book called, I don't know where it is. Yeah, I can't find it. Probably right there. I can't notice it. When disaster happens or something like that. Both of those books. Some of them overlap on disaster. When disaster strikes, that's it. That one is for short term, like with a couple of weeks or whatever disaster strikes. So both of those books I highly recommend. I would say that would be his life's work, though. His solar storm white paper, how they can protect us for a very small amount, like $3 billion instead of trillions and trillions and decades of replacing everything. I think that's it. I think we're going to call it a day here. I'm going to upload this. Sorry, not being live. I guess it would have worked. Could have done it, but here we go. And I will. I don't have an email working. I'm switching my servers over, and so I don't have the newsletter working right. Best way to find out is to get on Twitter or Gab or Minds or Facebook. One of those things. Get announcements. If you don't want to do any of them, well, you know what? You can go on YouTube and you can subscribe and hit the little bell or whatever it is. I'm on BitChute too, but I think something happened. I got to notice BitChute. I got to check that out if it's still around. BitChute as well. So, all right. Good to see you all again, and I'll be back soon. Where's the button here? And take care as I enter year 17.